Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking out the latest kit out in the MS General line, Ma Chao. Now, not only is she a cool kit on her own for the character portion of the kit, but for the vehicle part, we have this massive bike here, and it's pretty awesome. As you can see, she can ride on it, of course, and there's some other cool stuff that you can do with this, but we'll get into all of that in today's review. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright guys, so we'll start off by taking a look at the box and its contents. A pretty big and quite hefty box again for this one, as kind of usual for the MS General line. There's a lot of stuff in there. In this case, rather than being paired with like a mythical beast, it seems to be with some sort of sentient motorcycle, or at least it looks like that. I want to think that it is a sentient motorcycle, but this very big motorcycle that comes together here. So it's basically like two kits in one. But as usual, we have some very nice design work here on the box, with the illustration itself being in a glossy finish, and that background cityscape image and just like the background color all being in a matte finish. It makes it look very nice. The sides of the box just featuring some really cool line art there in the background, and then once again you have the glossy finish for the titling there and a matte finish for the background. Going around here onto the bottom of the box, here we have a look at the character portion of the kit there with some sword weapons. I'm guessing those are from the front of the motorcycle, and also the helmet head. You will have options, I guess, for making one helmet head and then just one regular head. There she is on the bike, and the product details again, like you just have the swords there, 4 of them attached onto the front. The other end of the box is actually a little bit different. Rather than just the titling, you have the titling and the character illustration from the front of the box on there once again. Here on the top of the box, here's a look at the somewhat unarmored version of the character, and then the armored version again just in a cool action pose there. And yeah, with it being, like I said, basically two kits in one, you can understand why the box is quite large and there's a lot of stuff in here, including, as usual, some nice extras like this alternate illustration version, kind of evening wear version of the character. There is just this kind of art card. I guess you have this VIP QR code there on the back, but really cool art card there of the character. Also gonna have some waterslide decals. Let's take a quick look at these before we check out the manual. All the waterslide decals gonna be in either blue or white or gray, it looks like mostly. And then you have some decals here for the faces as well. So if you wanted to change the expression of the eyes to the mouth a little bit, you can use some of the blank faces I'm sure we've got there in the parts with some waterslide decals here. Those look nice. Right, as for the manual, it's also quite hefty. I guess it's gonna be quite the involved construction here for this one, but we just got some basic artwork on the outside. Yes, on the inside, this is one reason why the manual is hefty, because the first part of this is going to be a manga, a little bit of a comic there. Well, I guess the first page. I thought there was going to be more, but that's all. On the inside here, there's that alternate illustration of the character and the body, the details of the head, how the different face options parts look, some of the different example images of the painted kit there. Next page features the armed display here on the motorcycle, and some couple different angles, shots of that, some of the different parts of that with the weapons and everything. Then we've got our parts list, again going to be quite a lot of parts included with this one. And then we get into the construction. So as I'm sure this will probably go, you build the character figure first, and then you build the armor for her, and then you build the motorcycle, and then it shows you how to put everything together in the end with the weapons. And then it comes to a pretty abrupt ending here. No more photographs of the kit or anything, just a decal guide here at the end for you, and that's it. Alright, before we get into the run, there's actually a couple little interesting bits. We have a couple of metal parts included with this, 3 little metal bits. Not exactly sure where those are going to go on the kit yet, but we'll see once everything's all built up. And then these black rubber parts here, obviously for the tires of the motorcycle. Didn't expect those to be like actual soft rubber, but they are. They do look pretty nice, I gotta say, nicely detailed. And then all of our face option parts. You have the pre-printed one, the unprinted, pre-printed, unprinted, pre-printed, unprinted, pre-printed, unprinted. Runners A, B, C, D, E, and F are all in this metallic gunmetal dark gray color. It does look very nice. These are obviously going to be mostly parts for the actual motorcycle, I would guess. But here's just a quick look at some of these parts. Very nice detail around on these parts. Some of them are just kind of, connection pieces here mostly, but you have some nice detail around on these parts as well. So some of these are for the body. You can see like those are obviously for the character body, and you got some good mix of some quite large pieces and then some smaller ones on there as well. Whereas G and H are in this very nice plated silver, so you have some very nice sprayed silver paint over these, so those have a really nice shine to them as well. Whereas I and J have some of the white parts here for the motorcycle. Again, some quite large pieces on here. Whereas K and L are also in silver, but these are just in a molded silver, not a plated silver, so they're going to be a little bit different. I'm guessing a lot of this is going to be for some of the more kind of internal mechanical type pieces. Runner M is back to white, and it would appear most of these are going to be for the character figure. Runner N is back to that molded silver color, does look quite nice. Runner O is half white and half clear purple. We've got two of this O runner. And the rest of our clear purple parts are going to be here on the P runner. We've got quite a lot of those. Runner Q is all of our skin tone parts for the kit, and that's about it, so fairly minimal as far as the amount of skin showing on this one. Runner R, just a couple of quite large and quite detailed parts here, I'm guessing for like the main body of the motorcycle. This is again that molded silver. Runner S and Runner T as well are both in a clear blue, looks quite nice. Runner U is actually molded in 3 colors, but mine kind of broke apart a little bit. We've got white, a very nice blue color, and then a very slightly off-white light gray color over here for the hair parts. And then lastly, Runner V here is going to be all of our hand parts, which is in a softer plastic here and obviously in black. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up, and as you can see, and as I was kind of surprised to see just how big that bike is, it's very large. I mean, it looks big in like the pictures and everything, but I don't know, just building it and like having it in hand, it's definitely larger than I was expecting. So very large vehicle portion of the kit. The actual character portion of the kit is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. She doesn't have a whole lot of like armor or accessories really, other than just like the swords that are mounted on the bike itself, but it made for a pretty cool set for sure, and there's some cool stuff that you can do with this, so let's go ahead and check it out. And yeah, aside from the hand and face options that we have for her, she really doesn't have too much in the way of accessories, except for maybe I guess this one little blue piece here. If you didn't want to have the backpack on her back, there's a hard point there that you can cover up with this little blue piece, but I mean, probably not going to use that. Other than that, we just have her helmet. Now the helmet is pretty interesting. A lot of times with these kits, the helmet is just a completely separate head. This one actually does fit around the head parts, but what you have is a different head part for that will fit around. So of course you can swap out the face if you wanted, but it's just a different back of the head's a little bit different, and this actually just fits around there like that. And then you can raise the visor to see the face clearly like that, which is pretty cool. So swapping out the head, obviously just gonna be pretty easy. Just pop that off, pop this on, and there you have your helmet head with the visor up, however you might want to display that. I will say the faces, the printing quality of them is nice, but they do still look a little bit off. I think the eyes are too wide or something on this one, and then just like the hair is not that great looking. I don't know, maybe just the hairstyles, just I don't know, maybe not to my personal taste or something, I guess, but I think it could have looked a little bit nicer. Otherwise, the articulation of the kit itself is all going to be pretty standard for any like Mecha Musume type kit. You have some nice details, pretty nice articulation around everywhere. You actually have a double joint in the elbow, which is pretty nice for getting a good full bend with that. And then like the backpack, these parts are just, you have a couple joints there, how you can have them, I guess, sort of like looking a little bit inactive, I guess, is how they're shown in the manual, isn't like that, but then like on the box art, they're pointing up, so I don't know. Her only other weapons are stored here on the front of the bike. So like I said, the bike is quite large. From the tip of the swords to the end here, it's about 35 centimeters in length, so yeah, it's very big. You have this little kickstand here, which will help it to stand up, and you can just fold that up when not in use. The handles are going to be, you're going to hold on right there, and then the feet can rest right back here. The wheels, both the front and the back wheel, do actually turn there. The back one spins a lot nicer. And you have some cool details like a small, very basic looking little instrument panel right up in there. And there is actually some molded detail on there, which looks pretty cool if you wanted to paint that up. But yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, there's just a lot of part layering and like different colors of silver and gunmetal and stuff. And like the clear colors all fit together here to give it a pretty cool look here. You got this big section out at the back. These seem like they're kind of supposed to do something more, but they don't really do all that much. You can kind of rotate that part out to the side like that. This whole section kind of turns a little bit, this little bit out the back kind of moves up and down, but it doesn't really seem to be for any particular purpose. I think it's basically just supposed to be like that. It's kind of the fault of the manual, because once you get to the end of the manual, it's just the end of the construction of the bike. There's no then part at the end. With a lot of times kits like this, at the end of the manual, they'll show you like how to do stuff, like how to mount the kit onto there, or like how some of these accessories work or stuff like that, but there's nothing like that in this manual. So basically the only thing you really have to go off of is just the sample photos in the front, or like any sample photos, anything you can find online, just to really know like what the kit does or how things work. You kind of just have to guess. One other thing that I guess you can do with this is also just rotate these front parts here, which is actually, aside from the swords, there's some gun barrels in there as well too, so I guess it's supposed to be some sort of like artillery weapon here on the front of the bike. You can kind of like rotate that forward. Otherwise, the swords just pop off pretty easily. You've got 4 of them. Obviously, you only have 2 arms with the characters, so you're only ever going to be able to hold 2 of them. But these are pretty cool as well. Pretty simple, but the clear effect parts on there look really nice. And yeah, that's really kind of about it with this kit. I mean, there's a lot of plastic in the box just because the bike is quite large and there's all the parts and everything for that, but the kit ultimately really doesn't necessarily do all that much, but it's pretty cool. Definitely, if this is the kind of thing you're into, this aesthetic, then I think it's definitely worth checking out. There's certainly a lot that you could do with custom painting that bike that I think could be really awesome, so that would be something to look into. Again, if you're a fan of the aesthetic, and because I know people are going to ask, I will also try this out with a couple other different Mecha Musume kits just to give you guys an idea of the size. This line, the MS General line, is about the same size as your typical Frame Arms Girl line, which is a little bit larger than 30 Minute Sisters and Megami Device, with these being roughly 1:10 scale. So anything around that size should fit pretty well with this, but it's definitely a cool set. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about this one? It's definitely something different for sure. I actually like this kit a little bit more than I was expecting to, and I do have to say the MS General line is starting to grow on me a little bit. It's still probably my least favorite Mecha Musume line, but that's not to say anything bad about the kits at all, just my personal feeling. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. If you guys are wanting to check out the kit, any of the MS General line or any other Mecha Musume kits, of course, we've got all that stuff for you guys at USA Gundam Store. The link will be down in the video description below, as always, so check that out. And guys, thank you so much for watching the video today. If you would like to also like or subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. But until next time, hope you all have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.